Hey, what's up everybody? We're just a few days away from the long-awaited drop of Street Fighter 6 Season 2, and I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to kind of put together a tier list ranking of where I think the characters stand at the end of Season 1. This way, after about a month or 2 months of Season 2, we can look back on my list, see what I think was right or wrong about it, and also find out and compare who the big winners and the big losers of the Season 2 patch are. As of the recording of this video, we still don't have the Season 2 patch notes, even though we're just a few days away from the Season 2 release, so nobody really knows what's going to happen. Now, I'm not really good at making tier lists, and this is actually my first time doing it, so I called up a friend of mine, Shinlad, to help me out with this. Shinlad is also a YouTube content creator for the fighting game community. He's put together some amazing Street Fighter guides, and he's also a really strong competitor. So let's get him in here and get started with this tier list.
Hey, Chun-Li here. This is your other favorite content creator for Street Fighter 6. Glad to be here, and it's nice to talk about some Street Fighter 6 here with my homie Chris F.
So before we actually get into the tier list, we have to talk about how we're formulating this tier list, and we are going to come into this tier list from the perspective of a best of 3 or best of 5 in a top 8 or top 6 tournament context. Then also Shinlad has his way of thinking about tier lists and how he's kind of constructed it, and it's called the Shinlad algorithm. So let's hear from Shinlad about how he kind of came up with that and how he ranks characters.
Okay, so first off to start, I rank characters from, there's S class, which is they're a step above everybody else. And then I have characters that they can win a tournament pretty comfortably. And then below that, I'll have characters that are tournament viable. That means they can make it through their bracket just fine, but, might need a little bit of help. And then there's definitely needs help, which are the characters that are just struggling to make out of pools.
I think we know who those are, but we're going to hold off on that for a second.
right. Okay, so now to get into my algorithm which I created, I took what everyone decided were the strongest things in the game mechanically. So, stable anti-airs, how strong is your light jab, how even plus frame normals, OD reversals, level 1 super reversal, how good are you against a fireball, do you have a fireball, and then do you have a throw loop that's meterless? And I scored them all together. And that's where I got my my tier list.
All right, cool. So thank you so much for that explanation. Let's talk about this together and let's see if what I think and what you think, we can kind of come to a consensus on who we think are the best characters in this game. So let's start with the character that is the true poster boy of this game. Don't even tell me he's not. Let's go with Ryu. So I put Ryu, honestly, for me, he's just a C. High C, yes. But C. Yeah, what do you feel about that?
I actually have him at the very bottom of B.
Ooh, okay.
So that would put him at rank 15 for me.
Let's put him in B for now, and then we're gonna kind of talk later and figure out if he's gonna be B or C. I can see how he's in B. I think there's nothing actually wrong with Ryu as a character. He basically has some really good normals. His combos, if you can do his good combos, they hit like a truck. Like anything into level 3 does a chunk of damage. He's got good fireball game. He is anti-airs, normals for every situation. The only thing that I think is really holding Ryu back is he doesn't quite have an identity compared to Luke and Ken, because Luke and Ken can basically do everything Ryu does, but just better. Ryu, which should be Ryu's strength in this game, the Denjin Hadoken, is kind of just held back by the fact that he has to commit to using Denjin every time he throws a fireball.
Another thing to note here is in my algorithm here, he actually is ranked pretty high because he has a little bit of everything that we consider strong. But the thing is, he doesn't have that anti-neutral situation that Ken and Luke have. Luke is with the fireballs, his strong fireball game, and then Ken with things like Dragon Lash and Jinrai Kick. So he doesn't really have a ways to burn you out quickly. He doesn't have a way to skip neutral quickly. And so that's what's crushing him, in my opinion.
He's missing the dank. He doesn't have
yes.
He doesn't have that button that you have to always be thinking about. So I think that's where he kind of suffers.
Give him that, and he is looking very strong.
Exactly. He's just missing that. He's just missing a little sauce. If he had some sauce, he'd be good. Mentioning sauce, let's go to our boy Luke. I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah, sauce.
Those forearms, man, those aren't natural.
Two guys talk about sauce for 30 minutes.
Do we even have to talk about this one? Can I just go S tier and just move on? I think we're all pretty much on the same page here. Maybe I can see that you could argue he's not top 1, but I don't think anyone was saying he's not S.
He's definitely. I don't think anyone even argues that he's not leagues above everybody else. No one can name a matchup he's bad in. He's the top tier that beats other top tiers. He's had the best record so far that we've seen in the tournament scene. And then also if you just look at any of the MR or S rank requirements, you just see he's toppling everything. And also same thing with my algorithm, he is above and beyond everybody else as well.
I think he has every tool you could ask for in a character, and not only are his normals and his specials really good, he just fits the game system, the game mechanics really well. So I just think he is like the perfect character, both in terms of normals, specials, damage output, and how well he just meshes with the game system.
He was built to be S tier. Like there's no way to go around it.
Yeah, Luke was on an accident. They wanted this guy to be good. It's very obvious. Mentioning someone they clearly didn't want to be good, I think, is Jamie. I don't know what they were thinking with this guy, but I'm gonna go ahead and just stick him in D right now. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I didn't go to D rank. I did S, A, B, C.
Oh, S, A, B, C. Okay, so then in that case, I'll get rid of the D rank. Right now, for me, he's near the bottom of C rank. So yeah, I think level 4 Jamie is an incredibly strong character, and he can be really, really good, but in Street Fighter 6, every character basically starts off stacked. They have all of their drive gauge, they can have all access to everything, but Jamie just doesn't have access to everything that he needs, and by the time he gets it, he's probably either like at low health or close to low health, and it's just too little too late for him to really compete against some of the other characters in even like A tier.
So when you play as Jamie, you have to just accept that you're not going to get 4 drinks all the time, especially if you want to maintain your pressure on a knockdown opponent. You just have to be like, you know what? It's probably for the best I just keep attacking him rather than backing off and getting a drink, because you never know if I can get past all these sonic booms. Like any type of zoning, just if you might not get back in, so what's the point? So the fact that like half your kit is locked behind it and your most powerful options really hinders him. Yeah, it's like for now, it's just too much of a struggle for him.
All right, so next on the list, we have Chun-Li, who I think is a fantastic character. For me, I have her at about like 3rd or 4th in the top 4, but I'm gonna stick her in S right now, unless you think otherwise.
I actually don't, on the fact that I think she has 3 matchups I don't think work in her favor that are very important. For Chun-Li, I think my case is that while she is strong, she loses. I think losing to Luke is very, very damning, because one, Luke is everywhere, and then I also think she loses to DJ and Rashid. And Rashid in particular, that's a legacy bad matchup, and DJ as well also shares similar strengths that Rashid has, where he can basically just throw his fireball, but she can't jump in as well as other characters because of her large jump arc. So she struggles in those matches in that regard, because she basically gets zoned out and she can't keep up with the fireball war.
But I think one thing for me for tier lists, it's really easy to look on paper at who the best characters are, but then also I think it's really important to look at tournament results. Like there's always a Chun-Li in like top 5, top 4. So for me personally, I think she's a little bit higher than like top 6 or top 7, but let's keep her in A. And then as we go through this tier list, maybe let's add like an A+ tier, and then I think maybe we could put Chun-Li kind of like at the top of that or something, but we'll come back to it. So for now, let's put Chun-Li at like A.
All right, I think that's fair.
So let's go to the next one. The next one we have is my main character, my favorite character in this game by a mile, Guile. I think he deals with some things that are difficult to deal with in this game really well. However, because he's a charge character, I think that hurts him a bit in this game, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for me, I put Guile either at the bottom of S or near the top of A. That's where I put him. What about you?
I have him at the bottom of A, actually.
Okay.
Just to disagree with you, again, no throw loop unless you spend drive rush. That's a big hammer for him too. So you can't just like steal rounds off a back throw. No plus frame normal. Again, that's not the biggest hurdle for him, because he is just gonna throw booms in the end. At the end of the day, he is definitely the most fun character. I would give him S rank for fun. Like doing boom loops is actually really, really, really fun. And in fact, like
actually for me, like as fun as I think boom loops are, nothing puts a smile on my face more than doing like a light sonic boom, almost full screen spacing just outside of his hard kick flash kick range, and then watching the opponent jump, drive rushing in and doing like crouching hard punch into level 3 outside of his hard kick flash kick range. That just puts one of the biggest fighting game smiles on my face ever, because it breaks every rule of fighting games ever, and I love it.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, the system definitely works out for him. I don't know if it was intentional or not though, but like he definitely lucked out in that regard. Absolutely. I got like his biggest hurdle, I think for me in a weird way, is his anti-air game. the characters like Luke in particular, it's really easy for them to just like look for a fireball, a sonic boom, and then just kind of jump in, and then depend on the fact that he doesn't have a charge anymore, and that the crouching heavy will just lose to his disjointed jumping heavy punch. And so like a lot of characters kind of like feed off of that. So I think that those are the things that hold him back. But for the most part, like, yeah, he's still very strong. Oh, and also he has like incredibly hard matchups like JP. So
yeah, JP is a really difficult matchup for me. For me, I think why I rate Guile really highly in this game system, or like in this tier list overall, is because Guile can do something really easy that not a lot of characters can do, and that is shut down neutral drive rush without having to think very much at all. Because just doing something like boom into drive rush yourself shuts down the basic game plan of many of the characters in this game. And I mean, fighting against somebody like, let's say, Juri, who have incredibly fast neutral drive rushes, which are really difficult to react to. If you're playing a different character, even if you're playing somebody really strong like Luke, you still have to have the twitch reactions to be able to react to their neutral drive rush, time your crouching medium punch, and kind of stop them before they can get to you. But for Guile, he doesn't even have to think about that, because he can just do like light punch boom, and that shuts down everything. He can do like OD boom and shuts down basically anything you do after that. And then just because I play Guile, I think one thing that definitely hurts him that I don't see too many people talking about is the fact that he's a charge character. I think when Guile gets put into burnout, the game is really, really difficult for him, because he kind of, depending on the situation, he will lose the ability to do a reaction level 1, because if you don't have your charge, you're not going to be able to do your level 1 super. When you're in burnout, walking forward is really important, because it's going to bring your burnout meter, like it's going to make you recover from burnout faster. But when Guile walks forward, he loses access to charge, which means he can't do reaction level 1 or 3 supers anymore. So I feel like Guile has a really, really difficult time, especially when his back is near the corner, and that becomes incredibly stressful for Guile players.
No, yeah, definitely agree. Yeah, that's something I didn't think about, was the burnout situation.
But overall, Guile, I think there are a couple of matchups that are difficult for him, but I think Guile's in a good place in terms of balance. If all the characters in this game could be kind of as strong as Guile, I think that would be kind of a healthy place for this game. Let's talk about Kimberly.
Okay, I have her 13th place, which would put her in the middle of B. But I still think it's actually mainly because how well she's been developed lately. Watching Psycho do really well with her has mainly changed it around. She definitely plays the neutral game really well. Like having like a DR that just zips her across the screen. It's almost as good as like something like Juri or Ken. Just to be able to zip across the screen like with the drive rush, and then just, you know, pressure with their plus frames. But yeah, so for me, unfortunately, the mechanics of Street Fighter 6 negate a lot of the strengths that her bombs have. And in fact, of anything, you probably only want to go for mix-ups off of her bombs. In fact, you probably want to go for burning out someone's drive gauge almost. Having like her limbs like stand medium kick, drive rush low forward, and just like her teleport and interchanging that with her teleports, you can really like open somebody else up. But the fact that she doesn't have a more stable way of doing it, it's like she's putting her life at risk whenever she does it. It really like hinders her approach. She lacks, okay, so her crouching heavy punch is a really good anti-air, but you pair that up against a dive kick and they don't care. So Juri, Cammy, they can maul Kimberly in the neutral game because she has to always be conscious of it. But with her crouch, it's because her crouching heavy punch doesn't stop it, and she has to use her OD Tatsu because it took away her anti-airs off of her regular Tatsu. So like, while she can do it just early, that's not reliable in a tournament setting. You want something that you know for sure hits somebody when they're in the air. So having to spend 2 bars just to anti-air somebody doesn't discourage me if I was, as a Cammy player, to not just, all right, I'll just do it again, and now you're down 4 bars, and I've lost, 200 life? I don't care. She doesn't have a good plus frame normal. Her standing heavy kick is like, whatever. It's better as an anti-air, I've noticed, than as a actual pressure tool. So it's good against preemptive dive kicks. Lack of OD reversal, that was a big one. That actually killed it for me, because I'm like, I don't want to think on defense. So, especially in a game
like this.
Yes, so oppressive, and an OD reversal just gets you out of like so much trouble too. The fact that she has one of the slowest level 1 reversals in the game, 13 frames, so you can always do a meaty attack, meaty jab, and beat it out every time. So basically, if she is burnt out in a corner, she's actually defenseless unless she has level 3, or just gets really good read on your throw and backdashes it. She's good against fireballs. Slide is a very strong, teleport is very strong. But yeah, the fact that she has no also, but of course she has no road projectile unless you want to throw a can at somebody and YOLO. So, but yeah, and this is also why she I like the algorithm here puts her very low. It puts her at 1, 2, 3, 4, bottom 5. Just the lack of like all those options needed. Now, granted, when you get knock somebody down, you get 50-50s for days. So like the player portion of it all, the human factor, plays in her hand, but I don't think it's enough to be a reliable, stable tournament character for her.
Yeah, I would agree. I think she's definitely got some tech. She's definitely got the mix up. She could definitely make it happen, but it's just a matter of stability, and she doesn't bring the kind of stability you need to consistently get out of the pools, get out of top 64, top 32 into top 8 in a tournament setting. It's just she's just working too hard for not enough. Meanwhile, you got guys like Luke just pushing crouching medium punch into drive rush and winning the whole thing. So yeah, I think she can be a really good character in season 2 if they give her the stuff that she needs. But right now, just too unstable to be top like A tier kind of class for me.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so let's go on to the next character, and this is Juri. So for me, Juri is like probably one of the most well-rounded characters in this game. She has like amazing drive rush. She has great anti-airs with her like her DP, and it's a punch, but like basically her DP. She's got the crouching medium kick. She has the buttons that she needs. She has the fireball that she can like drive rush behind, like the slow ground fireball. She can drive rush behind, walk behind it. She's got throw loop. She's got plus on block normal. She's got everything. But with Juri, she just doesn't have, for me, again, kind of like Ryu, that one really dumb button or that one really dumb move that's making you kind of sweat. I think she's just a really well-rounded character, has a bit of everything, but she's just lacking something kind of busted to put her into S tier. So for me, she's like pretty high up on A, like middle of A, but she's not like crazy for me.
I actually put her at the bottom A, making her 10th for me. But I actually think that she does have the dumb shit. It's just you need to build stock for it. Like I do think it's easy just to get out of like a fireball and then kind of walk behind it and move in. That's kind of like her way of like starting pressure, and then she starts her medium punches into guess real life. But I do think like her drive rush being so long range and fast is another good way to, I think, add to the mental stack in comparison. Like, is it as good as Dragon Lash? Probably not, but like I still think it's up there with those. She does lack though is her jab pressure. Her jabs are really like they have like no range, so she can't do a 3-hit confirmation. So that's really, I think that's also very important. I mean, granted, you can like sneak it in with doing like a drive rush medium punch, and that'll let you do the crouch light crouching light kick, stand light punch, and to convert into the catch people walking backwards. But for the most part, like Juri struggle in that regard.
Absolutely. And even if we look at the characters we have above her right now, like Luke's got the 3 hits, Chun-Li's got it, Guile's got it, and Guile sometimes doesn't, but he can always fit in like a standing light kick and still continue his combo after that. So I would say the characters above her all have like those 3 lights into combo or 3 lights into some kind of confirm. So yeah, I would definitely agree that her jabs being kind of cheeks hurts her in the tier list placing. I think that's the thing with tier lists, like just because they're not at the top of, I mean, A is really, really good. Even being at the top of A is still a really solid character, and like Uma showed it to us, like you can win a top tier level event with a character like that. But I think that's one thing everybody has to keep in mind. Like you don't have to be an S tier character to be like competitively viable. So now let's get to the next character, and this is probably one of the most controversial ones, especially if you're a person who hates themselves like me and decides to read fighting game discourse on Twitter. And it's gonna be Ken. Yeah, oh no, Shinlad's already like shaking his head. He knows what we're going into. I think no matter where we put this character, people are in the comments, they're gonna be giving us hell because it's Ken. For me, honestly, this character, I just think he is too stable to put anywhere below like top 6. He
definitely
has everything you would want in a character. If it weren't for like Luke, I think this character would be one of the best in the games. I think the only thing holding Ken back is, unlike somebody like Luke, is if you really, really know the matchup and you are really good at doing perfect parry and you are really good at finding holes in his plan, you can kind of like beat this character with good counterplay and good character matchup knowledge. But outside of that, good damage, great normals, great fireball, corner carry from anywhere pretty much. He used to have the throw loops, they got changed. He still kind of has them, kind of doesn't, but
they're there.
Not like before though. Not as brain dead as before. But I'm gonna stick this guy, for me, I think he's I don't know if I'm gonna put him above or below Chun, but he's definitely like high A for me. What about you?
I think Ryukichi, he changed my mind to put in this character back to number 2. So
yeah, for me, even just based on like tournament results alone, I think he's got to go a little higher than Chun.
Yeah, I mean, if I see a Ken and a Chun, I'm assuming the Ken's gonna win. But yeah, like again, like what you said, to go on top of what you said there, Ken for me, he's number 2. I don't understand the discourse. Those guys they're working around the clock to make sure that everyone knows that this character is not that strong, but it's really hard to mask that when you see every tournament. It's just flooded with Kens and Lukes for top 2. Even that, we had an AT&T Annihilator Cup, and it came down to a Ken and a Luke, and those were very middling players there at the very top. So,
all right. Okay, so I'm gonna interrupt you there because I gotta ask you this, because I know everyone they went on that whole campaign to show that he's not top 5 and everything. Let's go it the opposite way. What is Ken bad at? Why wouldn't he be top tier?
He has no plus frame normal, and that's all I can think of.
Yeah, I think if the worst thing you can think about a character is not having a plus on block normal outside of drive rush, if that's the worst thing about your character, then man, I don't know. That sounds pretty good to me.
And like, yeah, he overcompensates with that with his Dragon Lash, and then just like, I mean, Jinrai might as well be plus sometimes with the way that mix-up works. You could say like normally historically he has like one of those worst fireballs in the game. Like his fireball's kind of just there, but in this game he has one of the best ones with OD fireball and then drive rush behind it. So like for 3 bars you can just get a full conversion, and that puts the opponent into the corner, and then you just put him in the throw loop city. So I really like, yeah, like his normal weaknesses aren't present in this game. And so he just gets away scot-free.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that people don't talk about too much is also like what it's like to actually fight Ken in a tournament. Of course, your mental stack is going to be high because he's got the crouching medium kick drive rush. He's got the OD fireball into drive rush. But the other thing and he's got the, Dragon Lash, which you have to be on point to kind of anti-air or counter or perfect parry, whatever you want. But I think one thing a lot of people don't talk about is when you're at a tournament, they don't always have like the most amazing headphones, or sometimes if it's not like a top tier level tournament, the sound is pretty bad. And if you can't hear properly, there is no way you're going to choose the right option against his Jinrai kicks.
That's another good point. Yeah.
So again,
so like
the Ken player can get like a weird tournament buff if the sound isn't good, because you're not going to know which version of Jinrai kicks he's using, and if you don't know which version he's using, you're straight up guessing on defense, and he is not really guessing. He is, but his risk reward is way lower than yours.
Exactly. That sounds like a perfect tournament character. And also nothing he does is too difficult. There he has Jinrai loops in the corner. That's about it. You're not really dropping much after that.
Nah, but I mean, you don't even like, most Ken just does the exact same combos every time. He doesn't need to do really difficult things. He's got hit confirmable target combos and stuff. He's just, I think he's fantastic. This character's good.
Oh yeah, I got to Masters in 40 minutes with just flow forward, drive rush, crouch medium punch stand, target combo into whatever. That's all you need.
Yep.
You don't need all these fancy Jinrai loops.
Nope. Just I think good character. All right, cool. So I think we're pretty much on the same page with Ken. I think he's sick. All right, so let's go to Blanka, who is probably been one of the characters whose who's just general tier list placing since this game came out has changed the most. Like, I mean, I think also because Blanka is, along with Honda historically, is kind of the meme character. Like, he's only really been good like once in CVS 2, I think it was, which isn't even really a strictly like Street Fighter game. Like, this character is historically usually pretty not good.
But and even in this game, people thought he was low tier off the jump, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, I think people had to. I think also just because of this character's design, I don't think top players want to play Blanka just because of his design in general. I just think, yeah, Blanka's just been doing super well in tournaments lately. He's got the set play. He's got talk about a character who's got dumb stuff. This guy's got dumb stuff. The level 2 Blanka doll stuff in the corner. All you can do is what's the meme on Twitter now? Take the throw.
Just block.
Just block.
Take the throw is Cammy's old meme. That.
Just block against Blanka. So I don't know. Where do you put Blanka on the tier list? He's pretty high for me.
Same. I actually have him as in 4th place. So high A. There's nothing much to be said. Like, he has no faults. Everything he does is really strong. I mean, his anti-air is just standing heavy kick. That's so nice to have. You have a heavy attack that just shuts down anti-airs. Let me go through my list here. Yeah, so definitely is cool on the stable anti-airs. His lights, are fine too. His standing, back medium kick is plus as well, so he can he can maintain pressure meterlessly. Now I will say his one weakness, quote unquote weakness, is his OD reversal, because it's a 8-frame startup as opposed to a 4-frame startup, and so that means you can meaty him with certain normals he normally couldn't, but. Of course, he also has the option of doing a jump back dive kick, OD dive kick, which is plus on block for some reason. So I don't know. So he has all these extra defensive options in the game that make up for having a slightly slower reversal. And then you got poor guys like Ed with their 12, 13 frame startup reversal instead. If anything, it should be probably something comparable to that though. But yeah, beyond that though, he's got the level 1 that's really strong. He's good against fireballs. He can slide underneath everything. He has a command grab for some reason. I don't know. So just in case people are blocking all day. Yeah, the only thing he's missing is a fireball. But
pretty much, but I feel like he can deal with fireballs so well that if he had a fireball, we'd be putting him here, I think. But,
oh my god, yeah, the S rank, yeah.
Absolutely, but no, I just think he's awesome, and he's one of those characters where the more time you put into him and the more you perfect his setups and his set play kind of things, he just keeps on getting better and better. And I mean, I don't play this character personally, but I think watching him at tournaments is actually pretty fun. I mean, I don't want to fight against this character. Yeah. I lost to this character twice at Evo Japan. I don't like fighting against this character, but when you watch, it's fun to watch. He's got some cool stuff that you typically don't see in a Street Fighter game, so he definitely brings something different to the game, and I think he's just fun, so I don't mind this character being good.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it's maybe it's Blanka's reckoning, his time to shine. I don't know how healthy he'll be in the long run if more people play him. I think his low popularity is keeping him under the radar with the developers. Although I will say he does feel like a better Kimberly, and that kind of sucks as someone who likes who really likes Kimberly, But yeah, and of course, again, the algorithm, it puts at the 7-point range, so yeah, firmly in the A tier.
And then, well, yeah, I think he's good, and the fact that he can do the jump back, dive kick, dive ball, whatever, and it's plus, it kind of takes the no effort throw loop characters and makes them really have to think about how they're going to do their offense, and it makes you second guess against a character who can really snowball you. So just because you got the knockdown doesn't mean you have anything guaranteed after, and I think that just adds a lot of stress in an already unorthodox character and just really puts him in the higher class of characters in this game for me.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
All right, so we went from the really high tier to the Dhalsim tier. What tier do you think this guy is?
Dhalsim. Oh man.
Dhalsim's a tricky one. I don't think he's bad, but he's not good.
It's tough to gauge too because he's very hard to, I guess he's harder to learn than most characters. I definitely have him at the 17th place is my Dhalsim.
Do you think he's better than Kimberly?
No, Kimberly is in 13th place.
Okay, so lower than Kimberly. So right now, do you think he's better than Jamie?
I think he's below Jamie. Yeah, having the OD reversal, having a level 1, being able it's a bit memey though, but not every character zones him out. I think Jamie can win matchups against a Cammy or a character that don't have fireballs. Jamie goes really well against them. But I don't think Dhalsim does well against any character. I feel like Drive Rush just negates a lot of his zoning abilities.
So yeah, I think for me, the thing with Dhalsim is that he doesn't have a good Drive Rush. He doesn't have reversals. All his stuff can basically be option selected when you knock him down because everything is slow. And the best thing he has is guard drive reversal, which is a terrible defensive option in this game. It's so bad, I don't even know why they put it in the game. I don't know who greenlit that thing, but I just think he struggles in a game of characters who can just basically do whatever they want whenever they want, and he's just trying to do everything he can to kind of like play his game, but it's just not quite good enough in this version.
When I was first lapping him, once I realized like even his level 2 doesn't have iframes, I was like, what? Because you can duck it. I was like, why? How is that a thing?
Yeah, it's silly.
But yeah, he's lacking plus frames, no reversals of any kind until he gets level 3. I will say he is good in anti-airing. He has a good firewall game. Is very oppressive.
That's true.
Yeah, but beyond that though, he's struggle busting.
It's you're not playing the same game as like these guys at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, on the topic of not playing the same game, let's talk about the mini boss of this game. Every single beginner's worst nightmare. Like the poster boy for welcome to fighting games. You're gonna learn today kind of character in Street Fighter 6 E Honda. I think this character sucks, and if you lose to this character,